Fifth hour. You've been a great audience yesterday. I hope you've been liking what you've seen so far. We've got some talented students here for you today, so we're going to start things off with Will Helgren.
Hi. Okay. I wanted to preface this with, in case you can't see, I don't have my piece up here because I've done Writers Week twice before, and I did songs both times, and it was like, oh, so much fun. And then this year I wanted to do something a little bit different, so I had this great idea that I'm going to do a slam poem, and I'm going to do it memorized. Not a good idea for stress. First for this piece, I wanted to call out to the outdoor adventure teachers here at Friend, because they're the kind of ones that inspired this piece with the way they teach and the way, like, the different activities we do in class. So this is a poem that I wrote. Yeah. So this is a poem that I wrote called That Is. Listen. Right now, listen. Did you hear that? There it was again. That right there. What was that? The ringing in our ears, the humming of life? That is the world. That is the world breathing and living. That's what that is. That's what life is. That is the world around us living up to its full potential. That is the cacophony of emptiness we create whenever we stop. Listen. Did you hear it? It's nothing. It's what's left over when we take life for granted. But why do we take life for granted? Is there nothing new to see here, nothing at all? Do we just not care anymore about anything? But what if is all there is after life? What if there's nothing more? How will we be able to sense all that is around us when the infinite nothing engulfs us all and we slowly realize that we never did everything that we wanted? Is that what we want? To not know? To fix this, we must feel the earth. Do you feel the earth? Do you feel it breathing with you? Well, the earth feels you. The earth feels your heart pumping, your lungs breathing, your blood pumping. Is that what makes us human? I don't know, but it's what makes us alive. But does what makes us alive make up our minds? It shouldn't be allowed to control us, right? And yet, we are controlled. We have no choice. We are locked in. We can't escape. We have our path chosen for us by them. Them. Those that control and organize others' lives because they themselves cannot truly be alive. Them. The doubters. The non-believers. The ignorant suppliers. The illiterate individuals. Bullies. While they do what they want, we have locked ourselves away by repeating past lessons. We do nothing. We are herded. We are led. We have failed the earth. When do we get to be in charge? When do we get to choose what to do? Once the infinite nothing engulfs us? That doesn't seem fair. So then what should we do to fix this? What do we do now? Well, for now we are judged. We are judged constantly by them. We are judged when we have successes and when we make mistakes. But when we make mistakes, it's how we move forward and act in the future that best describes us as human beings. But that's not how we view others. We dwell on physical things. We believe in those that have and own matter. We believe that those that own matter. We believe that they have a say in what we do. They shouldn't, but they do. Why do they? What do they get to be when they are still deciding for us? Who cares? Because you are better. You with your life, your personality, you are you. You are you! Your body is a symphony that instills a synchronous harmony, the cacophony of emptiness around us, and no one can take that from you. They can try and take it from you in the future, and we all know they have in the past, but we can't let them get through. They break you down. They tear you down. They say that you don't matter. Well, God damn it, you matter! You are you. You do what no one else can do. You are you. You are someone that never backs down. You are you. You are human. You are you. You are alive. You are you. You just need to find yourself and to listen to what you have to say because you are worth listening to. You are you. But you is just a word. 3 little letters that have no meaning apart but holding your essence. And if we hold something that esteemed, then you becomes them. then we haven't gotten anywhere now, have we? So what is you? What are you? You is you. You are you. And that is why I love you. Thank you. Next we have Roddy Creek.
Hey guys, my name is Roddy Creek. I'm a senior, and originally for Writers Week, I submitted a college essay along with a poem, but I decided last minute to just stick with the poem and add a little twist to it. It's completely different from what I usually write. I would say it's a mix between spoken poetry and a rap, and it's just based off stuff I've seen around the frat. It's called Our Unforgettable Heroes. Alright, here it goes. If we could go back in time, we would have realized how much we'd missed and our small acts of crime. But who are we kidding? We were only mini 8th grade grads who couldn't wait to do real labs. It's like our one illusion as we strung into freshman year, not getting thrown pennies was our resolution. We had no clue what to appear or how to fear. Thrown into a class where I met a kid lined with one long crimson slash. Baby blue bruises and sketchy excuses. Fast forward 3 years later, underneath that mask of paper, I found he took his father's abuses, one after another, as a means to protect his younger brother. As we roll into sophomores, it's a different kind of encore. We're taking on a new spin and meet a football player and fellow track star who could get anyone to grin. Good or bad day, he always made sure his friends were okay, putting his team on his back and the feelings in his heart, he still cares for them from above, as he did from the very start. These are some of the unforgettable heroes at Friend. Some complete strangers and others who became a friend. Committing actions with everlasting compassion, constantly taking others' burdens, never asking for anything in return. And for that reason, I am standing here, so that together, they can be remembered. As we grow into juniors, we are taking on a new kind of race. ACT season picking up pace. With high amounts of stress and anxiety levels all a mess, nothing but college is in our mind. A new piece I hear makes us all take a step back and rewind. A senior boy's coming out speech during Writers Week allowed another to share his own story. No doubt it was pretty damn epic, catching hearts faster than the Ebola epidemic. Inspiring those to have the courage to let go of those bags of storage, breaking it out of lock and throwing away the key, destroying stereotypes, being who they want to be. This year was certainly different from most. Nothing from the past came even close. Walking past art door number 1, recited a teacher who could make any day fun. Unfortunately, a heart attack took his life away, but the memories he made would always stay. These are some of the unforgettable heroes at Friend. Some complete strangers and others who became a friend. Committing actions with everlasting compassion, constantly taking others' burdens, never asking for anything in return. And for that reason, I stand here to ask if you know of any, that you take a simple moment and tell them thank you. Thanks, guys. Next up is Care Ward.
This is so crazy. Okay, so this is something I wrote for my 319 class, and we just had to start the story with these 2 lines, which is, this is one story I've never told before, not to anyone. So I titled this Max. This is one story I've never told before, not to anyone. It was the summer of 2005, and I was as happy as a 7-year-old could be. The weather was spectacular that summer, perfect for sitting outside and taking in the cool summer breeze. One afternoon, I decided to do exactly that. I was sitting on my back porch with a snack in my hand, sipping on the leftover lemonade from the stand I had run earlier that day. It was right as I began to bite into my first teddygram that I caught a glimpse of him from across the yard. He was an older man who looked to be around the age of my grandfather, with deep wrinkles around his eyes and a head full of colorless hair. He was relaxing in a lawn chair on the patio of my next-door neighbor's house. I noticed him slumping down his chair a bit to keep the sun from getting in his eyes. While looking back on it, I now realize that he was probably pretty content exactly as he was. However, at the time, I was only 7, and the first thing that I realized when I saw him was that he didn't have a snack to munch on, like I did. I thought for a second before deciding that I had plenty of teddygrams to share, and I could easily go back inside and grab a glass of lemonade. So without a second thought, I put my plan into action. Within 5 minutes of conjuring up this idea, I was already attempting to balance the various snacks in my small, pudgy arms. After a snail-paced and wobble-filled trek, I made it all the way over to the neighbor's house, with 2 wet glasses of lemonade that had been mostly spilled on the way over, and a child-sized bowl of small bear-shaped cookies. "Hello, my name's Kara. What's your name?" I said as I sat down in the chair next to him. "Oh, well, hello, Kara. I'm Max," he replied with a surprised yet pleased look. Once he moved his head, I was able to see all the details of his face. His smile was one that pictures couldn't do justice, and his eyes were bright with age. He had a sort of welcoming glow to him that made me feel as though we were already friends, after having only exchanged introductions. I proceeded to nudge the sticky glass of lemonade over to Max, and then placed the bowl of cookies between us, and from there we began to talk for hours. Max started by telling me that he was visiting his daughter, who I knew as my neighbor, Mrs. Reuter, from Utah with his wife. After that, I told him all about my family, friends, school, and so on. Despite our large gap in age, somehow our conversation flowed seamlessly. We discussed everything and anything, and it seemed as though we could talk forever without running out of things to say. No topic was too big for us. Our conversations ranged from stories about his childhood to who our favorite Disney characters were. Although soon enough, it got dark, and my mom called me inside for dinner. I waved goodbye to Max and promised to talk to him again soon. I kept that promise. After that, every time Max came to town, I made sure to go and talk to him and catch up on what had happened since I had last seen him. As I grew older, our conversations grew deeper in meaning and stopped being as much about Mickey Mouse and more about our views on life and the world. I always look forward to our conversations because he never treated me like I was a little kid. He always treated me like a real friend. He not only cared about hearing the problems or events in my life, but cared about the tiniest details as well. Fast forward several years later to my mom sitting me down to tell me that my good old buddy Max had passed away. I had been aware of his worsening health, so it wasn't a total surprise to me, but that didn't mean that it didn't crush me to actually hear. I told my mom how sad I was and put on a brave face, but it wasn't until I was alone in my room that I actually broke down. You see, Max wasn't just a great conversationalist, but he was someone who cared about me. Every time we spoke, I could feel the sincerity in his voice as he asked how I was and what was new in my life. He wasn't just asking as a courtesy, but because my answers really did mean something to him. You don't find enough people in life who really care about you the way that he did. At times, I still look out onto that patio and think back to the conversations we used to have and the memories we made. There's a million things I learned from Max, but the one that will always stick with me is how to treat people, no matter who they are, so that they feel appreciated. Max could have ignored me that first afternoon when I interrupted his quiet time, but instead he made me feel like I was the most interesting 7-year-old on the planet. I began by saying that I had never told this story before, and the reason for that is because I had never had a good enough reason to. I was incredibly lucky to not have only met Max, but to have had the opportunity to really get to know him, and sharing these precious memories isn't something I do casually. The moments I had with Max continually inspire me to be a better, kinder person, and I can say that without a doubt, he helped make me into the person I am today. I hope that by telling this story, others are able to see what an amazing man he was and be inspired to care about others the way that he did. If you take anything away from this, please remember that simple acts of kindness can change someone's life, or even your own. The way that bringing a glass of lemonade and Teddy Grahams over to a stranger on a patio changed mine. Next up, Wesley Walker.
Good morning, people. My name is Wesley. I'm reading a story that kind of relates to violence that's going on in Chicago. This is my first time, so. Christmas Eve in the Dale Park community, Eastwood, Illinois. Dale Park has been known as the murder capital of Eastwood since 2011. 700 people have been killed in this neighborhood, and the murder rate goes up each year. But there was one death that stood out to a lot of people. There were 3 boys, and each and one of them was on his way to the NBA and out of the harsh life of Dale Park. Michael Spinner, Devontae Merriweather, and Ronell Anderson had a passion for basketball that was about to be achieved. All they had to do was wait until the NBA draft, which was only a couple of months away. But unfortunately, on one foggy day, everything has changed. Devontae had just finished cleaning his house for Christmas. Then he heard a knock at the door. Devontae put on his red-nosed reindeer sweater with black jeans on and went to answer the door. He opened the door to see that it was Ronell wearing a green Aeropostale hoodie with black pants and Jordans. Ronell smiled and said, "Merry Christmas Eve, bro." Devontae laughed and said, "Dang, you seem to be in a good mood. You usually not like this on holidays." Ronell laughed and said, "It's Christmas Eve, dummy. Don't tell me you didn't forget already." "Well, duh, it's obvious. If it wasn't, don't you think I would be wearing this sweater?" Ronell, with a look of sarcasm, said, "Well, dang, broski, I was just playing with you." Devontae smiled again and patted Ronell on the back. "I know you was, bro." Ronell gently removed Devontae's hand from his back and said, "Anyway, where your mom Patricia at?" "Well, my mom is at the store and Patricia's in the back." Cool, cool. Can you come outside?" "Yeah, hold up." Devontae went to the back where his sister was. She was watching The Grinch That Stole Christmas on a 24-inch plastic screen Sony TV. "Hey, Patricia, I'm gonna be back. I'm going outside with Ronell. We might go see Michael, too." Patricia turned her head and said, "Okay, Devontae, you be careful." Devontae nodded his head before heading back outside to where Ronell was, and they headed for Michael's house. On their way to his house, Ronell raised his head and said, "So, the San Antonio Spurs, huh?" Devontae turned his head and said, "Yeah, they called me and told me they was going to pick me up in the first round." Ronell just nodded his head. They had finally made it to Michael's house. It was a white and black rusty-looking house with the paint falling off the stairs, the walls, and a roof that looked like it hasn't been replaced in 25 years. Ronell shakes his head in disgust and said, "Man, this house looks ridiculous." "Don't worry. As soon as you play in the NBA, we all get to afford a new house. I want a house in the hills," Devontae said as he rang Michael's doorbell. 5 minutes later, a boy with a black leather coat and blue jeans had entered the door. It was Michael. "Yo, what's up, y'all?" Michael said while slapping fives with Devontae and Ronell. "Yo," both of them said. Where you about to go?" Devontae said. "I actually was about to go look for y'all," Michael said. "Well, here we are." Michael then said, "You guys want to slide to Walmart real quick? I'm hungry." "Me too, man," Devontae said, agreeing with Michael. The three boys headed off to Walmart. On their way to Walmart, they see three boys approaching them that seemed like they was up to no good. One of them said, "Hey, y'all got 50 seconds to give me your Jordans and that petty jacket and everything in y'all pockets. If y'all run, I will shoot every one of you." It was Tarantino, the head leader of the Eastwood Disciples. "Listen, T, ain't nobody give you none, so you go to it with that bull," Michael answered while clutching his fists together. One of the boys out of the group got in Michael's face and said, "Now look here, fool. When you disrespecting the boss, you disrespecting me. Now he wants you to fork over that jacket. We're not going to tell you again. Hand over the jacket before we give you that gun smoke." Michael looks at both Devontae and Ronell. The next thing they knew was Michael's fist collided with Tarantino's jaw. "Run!" Michael yelled, and the three boys took off running. "Go get them!" Tarantino said. The disciples started to give chase to the three boys. While running, Devontae noticed an alley and started to run into it. "Devontae!" Ronell yelled. One of the boys went after Devontae, while Tarantino and the other disciples gave chase to Ronell and Michael. All of a sudden, Ronell saw bullets flying past him like airplanes. Ronell then see 4 bullets ripping through Michael's chest. Ronell yelled, "Michael, no!" He was able to get out of sight by ducking behind a nearby dumpster, but all he heard was, "Pow!" Tears started to form in Ronell's eyes. When he looked over the garbage, he saw no one but Michael lying in a pool of blood. When he ran over to see Michael, blood was oozing from his arms, legs, chest, and his head. "Oh no, Michael! Somebody help!" Ronell yelled. "Oh my God, what happened?" A woman had yelled from the car window. "My best friend had just been shot. He really needs help." "Jesus, there's a hospital just down the street. Quickly, I don't think we got much time," she said. Ronell lifted Michael up and placed him in the back of the car. Blood was all over the seats now. They drove a couple of blocks to Lopez Hospital of Eastwood, Illinois. Someone had spotted Ronell and Michael and yelled, "Someone here, quick! That boy needs some serious medical attention." 4 doctors rushed over to help Michael into the emergency room. Ronell pulled out his iPhone and called Devontae on his phone. "Devontae, bro, are you okay?" Ronell said. "Yeah, I was able to lose him. I'm at the crib right now. How's Michael?" "Things are pretty bad for him. I'm at Lopez Hospital and someone had..." "I'm on my way," Devontae said before grabbing his coat and headed for the door. While walking to the door, he heard someone call his name. He turned around. It was Patricia. "Devontae, what is going on?" she said. "I have to go. I can't talk right now," Devontae said. "Devontae, Michael got shot!" There was only a slight pause. Tears rolled down both Devontae and Patricia's eyes. Devontae didn't say anything. He leaves. 30 minutes later, Devontae had just made it to the hospital. He sees Ronell sitting in the far back of the waiting room. "How's Michael holding up?" he asked. "I don't know yet," Ronell said. "Man, this is crazy. I'm buzzing out right now, bro," Devontae said. Ronell grabbed Devontae and said, "Get a hold of yourself, man. I can't. This is too much, Ronell. Michael has been shot. He only have a slight chance to live." Ronell said nothing but hugged Devontae, hoping that Michael would survive. A couple of hours later passed. It was Christmas Day. A doctor showed up and walked to Ronell and Devontae. The two boys hoped that the doctor had good news. However, "Doctor, is Michael going to be okay, right?" Devontae asked while shaking. "He died before we was able to operate on him. We tried our best to revive him, but it didn't work. I'm sorry," the doctor said, patting Devontae on the back. All of a sudden, Devontae punches a nearby wall. "Devontae!" Ronell yelled, grabbing Devontae and holding him. Devontae tries to resist. "Get off of me!" he said while crying and sobbing at the fact that Michael was killed. Bree Zyler.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Bree Zyler. I'm a junior here at Friend, and I'm really into prose fiction, so I'm going to read a piece that I wrote. It was every night that countless whales and relentless screams rode the wind as they traveled across the sea. The sun set and the moon rose. Hell-torn souls looked out across the water, peering through the iron-barred windows that held them captive. Many of us had a life on the outside at one point. There were many of us, I assure you. There was your housewife, sales manager, mail carrier, pilot, sergeant, chef, lawyer, professor, nurse, and the good old banker. We all received the ungracious sample of approval and were shipped off to lack of any better word, hell. Somewhere far from the heartwarming civilizations we all called home. Housed in a building so long forgotten by some and a relived haunting by many, the bitter truth was never simply left alone in one's mind. It always got out, secrets about this place. Established in 1955, a man by the name of Theodore Saxon founded this architecturally marveled space for the sickest, most dangerous, and untreatable patients. This was Saxon State Mental Institution, where an exit ceased to exist. Desperate dreams of what is sanely known as a normal life died slowly. Patients who were ruled as a danger in society, I guarantee you, were knowingly misunderstood. A body that dared to walk and wander the halls with a broken heart and shattered mind were hopelessly locked up. The act of not seeing, speaking, hearing evil in this prison is physically and mentally impossible. It's terrible being the experiment. Every staff member wore two horns on their heads with dark ebony eyes, their pupils so enlarged, directing us to our death, prodding us with restraints, poking us with needles, and stuffing us with pills long ago named destructive and ineffective. The devil's children. Had the world known more about people like us in this hospital, many would have lived. Lived to see the delighted faces of their children, husbands, and wives, inhaled the wonderful incense of burning leaves in the fall, the redolence of funnel cake at the fair in the summer. For once in a long time, we would have been granted freedom and the gift of everlasting love. But all these wishes, hopes, and dreams suffocated under one's bedsheets as the tears replaced fervent smiles. The victims gave in, and so did the system. The walls were colorless, dull, and depressing to look at. The lounge was musty and unsettling. The chairs overturned by an angry patient. The TV smashed in by a rebel, and the pool table lay splintered and deserted on the floor. Tables looked unpleasantly entertaining as its occupants did puzzles, read or chewed on the books, and said the appetizing food on their plate. As psychiatrists, nurses, and doctors and orderlies roamed the halls for their catch of the day, Life again seemed unbalanced and bizarre. Morning pills clouded judgment as reality drifted farther and farther away from its assailants. As more days passed, patients became more coherent and stable again, only to be knocked down by another round of antidepressants and antipsychotics. They drifted and swayed, unaware of their now unstabilized well-being. All the more reason to keep them there, because crazy people can't function alone in society. The floors creaked and shuddered as Gata's feet trudged and stumbled over the other. It had been years ago since Saxton was presentably warm and safe. No one bothered us loonies, except on occasion when the tourists would, snap pictures curiously and run away scared like the place was about to sprout legs and chase after them. Once every 2 years that happened, and that was really the only excitement. After that, they left. Patients would sob, sulk, and become agitated over a life they would never live. It's sad to think that some people don't appreciate life on the outside. The air, the beautiful scents, freedom, success, and love and family all seem to stick to their plates, but slide off ours. Privacy was violated, and any secrets you had were choked up and spit out into the hands of anyone with authority. White coats, white shirts, and white dresses closed in on you, and the truth was revealed. A lie is a sufferable day in restraints and a tranquilizer every 4 hours. I could tell you that this is torture, but what rights had we ever been given? I spent 48 hours in restraints with enough sedatives to kill a cow. At the last of a 48-hour punishment, I knew I was going to die. That's when I realized we all have a key. It's not a key to freedom, love, or wealth, but a key of acceptance. We can choose to open a door that allows us to accept life as it is, how it's been, and eventually how it will end. I am patient 3311290, and I accept my fate here at Saxton State Mental Institution. The year is 2009, and I'm 17 years old. Thank you.
Let's hear it one more time for our presenters this period. We've got about 5 minutes left of this period, so we're going to start off with a very, very general question. What is your spirit animal, and why?
One of my friends told me that she was totally going to ask this question. So, my spirit animal is a turtle. Because, thank you, Dennis. Because I feel like I embody a turtle a lot because I put up a shield a lot of times, like a shell, to like protect myself from other people who annoy me or rude to people or to just put off a mean persona. So like, that's why.
I get told a bunny a lot, but I would also like to argue that for all you who take Spanish, that Paula from El Internado would be my spirit animal.
This might sound, kind of awkward, but gorilla is my spirit animal because it relates to my previous life in the city that I went through. So that's my spirit animal.
Alright, this is kind of a tough question. I would probably say maybe a lion.
I don't really know, but I guess I don't know, a dog. I mean, man's best friend, I'm really sociable, so I think I get along well with my owner. So yeah, a dog. They're cute, cuddly.
And last question. I don't know, do we have no time? No time for one more? No, we're good? Okay, well, you were a great audience. Nice job. Good.